Man, if McGregor wins this fight next weekend, there's going to be many blind optimists, from my town especially, who presume that drinking and doing coke every weekend is actually a very solid base for MMA, you know. Obviously, I mean, if we're being purely objective, then, you know, McGregor actually is the king of getting his head off the centre line, whereas, you know, Max Holloway gets way more credit than he deserves for his boxing defence. He's absorbed the most strikes in UFC history. That is not a flag to be proud of. I don't know anybody who, you know, can call themselves the best boxer in the UFC, you know, and obviously has taken more strikes, because the sweet science is about hitting and not getting hit, you know. Obviously, McGregor is a very dynamic striker, and this is at 170, you know. This isn't 145 like they fought many years ago, you know. So that punching power is going to be there for McGregor, but the problem is, if this gets to the second round, I just don't see him having the grit to see the fight through, you know. He's been binging for years, man. You don't just dip your feet into MMA and come back at the highest level, and, you know, and it just goes plain sailing. I just don't see that. His chance to win this fight is in the first round. Now, obviously, it could happen, you know. McGregor could look to take Max Holloway down and do a bit on the ground, you know. But again, Oliveira couldn't finish Holloway on the ground, so that's clearly not going to be a viable option. I think one of his overhands or a high kick like he got against Cerrone is probably his best chance. But, you know, Holloway's been in there with some big punches, and, you know, none of them been able to KO him in the first round. So it's a very uphill battle for McGregor, and that's why I believe that we're going to see McGregor fold after a very good first round, going into the second, you know, taking some low kicks, very tempted to throw kicks of his own with obviously the bad leg injury that he had and stuff. And I think that's when Holloway is going to take over and knock McGregor out in the second round, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm going with Max Holloway via TKO in the second round.